Okay, this one. What does this have going for it? What can I do here? Bless me. Okay, scissors. This is, I've already made a rather large mask using this. I call them, I refer to these as masks because they were, there's a nice set of nostrils. Eyes. Eye. Hey, Kesh, how are you? Mr. Kesh. I don't know if this one is speaking to me. But I'll make it speak to me. It'll talk to me if it's the last thing it does. Well, it's been rather warm here. But that's not going to last forever. As you might know, it will not last forever. The weather has been here anyway, has been not too bad. And where you're located, of course. Oh, I don't know if anything is new with me. I'm just playing it by, I don't know what I can even say. I think I'm kind of depressed, dealing with depression. How about you? What's new with you? Oh, I haven't seen a therapist in a while. No. I think it's just the times we're in. Gosh, COVID and the world getting worse and worse, I think. And so I'm cutting up diplomas and making little faces. So I'm having fun doing that, I guess. Well, the vaccination doesn't hurt, but, people still aren't feeling comfortable, having hot, wild sex or having parties that they hire me to have sex at. No, hire me to do invitations for. So that's unfortunate. No, I know uh, I do enjoy playing the uke a lot, but I just end up sitting on the couch and doing stupid things. So playing the uke almost always makes me smile, so I should just do it. Hello. What did you think of the new game you saw? The text I sent you. I found another diploma of Clem Greer. I swear he graduated from at least three high schools. Must have been kicked out of a bunch of them. You're welcome to come on, Mitch. Okay, now that's a big nose. I need some little eyes. And set a eyebrows here. Okay, eyes. What are the eyes going to be? Yeah, this could be just the dots on these eyes. How about that? Big nose and little tiny eyes. Come on, no, no, yes, no, stick. Damn you. Stick. I was screaming at my computer a little bit ago, which is what I do. I was trying to send something via Chrome and my email, and my files all showed up, not alphabetical order, but by date. I couldn't figure out a way to fix it. I'm sure there's probably some way to fix it, but Hi, Will. Would you like to join us?
Hello,
What did that
hello.
hair do?
Yeah, I had to
Hello?
get all my hair chopped off.
Why was that?
Well, it's getting a little unruly.
Unruly? Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking a little too much like a mountain man. And I
Too much
actually
like,
went to a real place where they cut hair. I didn't just take the clippers in the kitchen like I have been.
oh,
Oh, and I watched your video that you sent me. I didn't notice that you'd sent that to me earlier.
yeah.
The slot car playset.
For an adult audience, yes.
Yeah, a little adult oriented. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I even showed it to my mom. And she's like, "Oh my god, is that a real movie?" I was like, "I maybe."
It might be. I don't know.
Yeah. She looked it up. It is a real movie, but they're trying to catch some serial killer that targeted guys that were part of the leather scene in the 80s or something in New York. Yes, I did pay real money for the haircut, Will. Yeah, Will says Mitch has to put on pants. Just scrolling through here. Oh,
Okay.
just of saying I should get on the stream. Well, here I am.
Would Kesh like to come in?
Or Will. We could get Will
Or
on here.
Will? Yes, Will, of course. Will, would
Yeah.
you like to come in? So those Eversharp sold for big money, and so did the Skylines. I noticed.
Which one was that? That lot that you had showed me?
The lot that had the $60 or the $50 postage fee.
Oh yeah. I didn't even see it when it ended. That's the problem. I've been so distracted lately. I haven't been paying much attention to eBay
Yeah.
because the money's been flowing out of my bank account in other directions.
I see. The Skylines went for $450 or something.
Phew. Well, you were telling me that one was a pretty rare one. What was it? The Ventura, or I can't remember what you called it.
The walls went for like $600 or something, but
Oh wow.
the Skylines went for 450 or something. Well, here's Will.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a bloodbath on eBay here lately. Hello.
How in the hell is everybody?
Well, could be worse, could be better, somewhere in the middle.
Hello there, Will.
Oh, fuck, my bad.
What are you bad about?
Not turning off the YouTube and being
getting echo.
Yeah, I think I got it now. Isn't that exciting?
It is very exciting.
Yes. Modern technology never ceases to amaze me.
Well,
Modern technology just depresses me. That's all it does. Makes me lose what little shred of faith in humanity I had left.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd pop on here a minute before we get delved into pins and technical and all that stuff. But just to drop in and say hi, everybody.
Well, it's certainly good to see you. You
Yeah,
should.
good man. I like that haircut. That looks good.
Well, thank you. You should
Yeah.
drop by our secret chat room sometime. It's been pretty quiet around there.
I do. In fact, I dropped in earlier, and I think I seen a post. I don't know.
Whenever it gets too quiet, I start posting pictures of old pin advertisements.
I did notice that, and those are awesome, man. Those old advertisements.
Oh, I love them too. Every time I see them, I'm like, oh, this is too cool.
Yeah.
It's just the way they used to advertise stuff is so completely different to how it's done today.
Yeah, it reminds me of that. What was that thing that Pierre had? That box that was signed multiple checks.
A sinograph. Yeah.
Yes, and that's Americana gone by. It's that was, I guess, back during the industrial age.
It just blows my mind because how few people would have a specific need for something like that.
Well, Pierre evidently
it can't be that many, but you figure they went through all the trouble to make that thing, so they had to have sold some of them.
And that's the Sinograph Junior. It wasn't made by the Waterman Company. It was made by the Sinograph Company, but they used Waterman pens.
Right.
And so I imagine any huge government or private industry where you can sign 10 checks at a time would be handy. If you've got 10,000 workers that need your signature on it.
Well, it's not like they were making rubber stamps with people's signatures on it like that back then.
Well, there might be rubber stamps may not be legal in,
That's true.
You need an actual signature, and that would give you one.
That's true. Even though your signature is being mechanically duplicated, it's still a signature.
It's still your hand is.
Yeah, your hand ink on paper.
What amazes me with that thing though is how much fiddling you got to do with the fucking thing to get everything like timed. You know,
have to be an expert
clearly
to run that machine. I'm sure
it was the man at the desk signing it, and then some secretary or two that would switch out the checks. But he also had to have the checks made so that they could be, so you could sign. They had to be all on one piece of paper and then later on cut, or it had to be somehow. I mean, I don't know if you can do that.
That was the part I was confused about, because if you had like individual checks, you'd have to place them all specifically in that spot to have any sort of a hope of signing it where you're supposed to.
What time frame would that be? Early 20s, maybe?
20s, I would think.
Did they have perforated paper then?
Sure.
Yeah, they did have perforated paper, but I don't think it was nearly as common as it is today. Because the way they do perforations and stuff like that's really interesting. When they run it through printing presses, you can actually perforate stuff as it goes through a printing press by putting these little, they're perf strips is what they're called. You attach them to the cylinders inside the press. And as the paper goes around, it pokes the holes in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Mitch. You do have some background in printing. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. Thus the lust for old typewriters.
Anything mechanical. I've just been my whole life I've been drawn to obsolete things.
Some of those old typewriters are bringing a pretty good penny.
Very expensive. They're hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Some are, many, many thousands of dollars.
And what amazes me, uh, there in Houston for many, many years, there was a guy that repaired typewriters.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he's dead and gone now, but he just had this little shop, and it was like floor to ceiling typewriters. He repaired them and sold them, but it's a shame because that type of guy that was a craft at one time has gone by the wayside. Kind of like the old television repairman. You had an
That's what I
old
was going to say. That
tube.
sort of thing used to be every
Uh,
main street in America had a guy that repaired office machines, typewriters, copiers, whatever, and maintained them. There was a guy that repaired your TVs or your VCR or whatever.
well, I'm talking about way before VCRs and
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. You may not remember, Mitch. I'm sure Pierre does, but you used to go to the drugstore, and they had a display of different tubes, and you took your old tube, your TV quit
Yeah,
working.
you had the tester that you could test your vacuum tubes.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
I've seen those.
That aisle I never went down, I don't think, but I'm sure it
Pierre,
was
you've
there.
gone down quite a few aisles, but I don't know.
All that has
Here's my
had
pretty
pretty much
face, Cash.
disappeared by the time I was a kid. But yeah. But even when I was a kid, I was fascinated with stuff that operated by vacuum tubes. I always thought it was so cool.
Oh yeah.
I still have a few things that use vacuum tubes, actually.
I can remember when I was, I don't know, 8 or 9 maybe. I got a transistor radio kit
Yeah,
from Radio Shack.
I've built so many of those types of things.
Yeah, and used to go to bed at night and put that little plug in your ear and listen to old
That little earphone
radio.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was crap.
earphone.
Yeah, you listen to old radio shows on AM, and you hold it different, go walk around your room, to find the best place for reception, and yeah.
Or tying the wire around a pipe that goes in the ground for a ground.
Yeah.
Looking for a photo here. You're talking about building those electronic kits. I'm doing something along those lines. Hold on here. Where the heck is my picture at? Daggone it. Here it is. This purple thing. That's a picture of something I'm working on. It's a replica of a 1980s Commodore computer. It's the entire circuit board for one, and it's blank. And I have to put all of the pieces on it.
And then what are you going to do?
Now wait a
Make it
minute.
into a working computer.
All the pieces, is that like that purple thing's like a motherboard? And
Yeah, it's the actual circuit board, but there's nothing on it.
where do you get all the stuff to put on it? It's Greek to me, but
Yeah, I have a collection of the parts that go to those, like the actual chips that go on there, and then a lot of the other little pieces. You can buy that stuff brand new still.
and what are you going to do with this thing when you get it built?
Play video games on it, of course.
Pong? Does it do anything besides
Pac-Man, Pong, Frogger, all that stuff.
Frogger? Does
Oh,
it got
yeah,
Frogger?
Oh yeah.
Frogger? Remember Frogger where you had to jump the frog across the street and the cars came by?
Yeah, that's the kind of video games that I love. To me, that's a real video game. The stuff they have now is, I don't know. I don't get the same out of it. It's just not the same.
I never did the video game thing. I just wasn't I can't think fast enough.
Well, I remember when I was growing up, any arcade game machine that I saw as a kid, my mom was perpetually out of quarters because I would constantly be like, "Oh, come on, give me a quarter so I can play this game." I don't know. It was like magic to me when I was a kid.
I have a question that may be personal, but I'll ask it anyway.
Okay.
You speak often of your mother. Do you
Yes.
have a father that you speak of?
Um, I'm sure there's one out there somewhere, but
Okay.
yeah.
You don't know who he is.
I
Or
know limited details.
okay.
And the strange thing is too, I used to have a good friend and he was in a similar situation, never knew his dad and all that sort of stuff. And we were like total polar opposites. Like he was really torn up about the whole thing. It would bring him to tears just, bringing the subject up or whatever. And it was kind of strange that like when I first became his friend, we kind of bonded over that because even though we had very similar experiences growing up without biological dads, he was, really emotionally messed up about it, to put it lightly, whereas I never really cared. I don't know if
Huh.
that's a function of having a good family or other positive male role models in my life. I don't know, but in my case, it never mattered to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
That is a
that's the Cliff
good
Notes
answer.
version. Yeah, I'm looking at the chat here. I see Keshev wrote back. He said, "Hey, look at the hair. Hey, Will, howdy, long time. Been ages since I seen y'all on the stream together last time." And Keshev was asking why you're not showing your face on stream
Well, that's
here.
why I turned the camera around
Right,
briefly
oh, okay, okay.
to show my pretty face.
I've seen Cash on Facebook. He's looks like he's doing well. Cash, good for you, my friend. Awesome.
I see his posts on Instagram every once in a while. I don't know. I'm bad about that. Social media is just not really my thing. Like I go on Instagram and I don't sit there and scroll through all that stuff like some people do. I look through a page or two of it and then I get bored and go do something else. I mean, it's cool to see like other people's pins and stuff because that's like social media. If it doesn't directly pertain to like one of my hobbies or something, like I don't care about people's political opinions or what they had for dinner today or any of that kind of stuff. I don't, that sort of stuff just does not interest me in the slightest. Maybe
I
it's 'cause I'm a super
I
nerd or something.
I enjoy a good meal, but I don't think I've ever had the inclination to take pictures of it and post
Well,
them
that's the
on.
thing now. Like people want to put this carefully curated, you know, fantasy version of their life that they're living on the internet to make everyone else think that, oh man, this person's traveling to all these exotic locations and eating these fancy foods. And I don't know. I don't get that whole jealousy thing.
What do they call these new
Influencers.
like influencers?
Yeah,
And
influencers.
yeah, they're like I don't know whether they TikTok stars or I
Well,
I
Well, it's
don't
Kesh
gotten
know.
so crazy now that like
Kesh
these
would know. Kesh, what you weigh in on this? What are we missing? You're an influencer, Mr. Kesh.
Well, well, Cash doesn't Cash do scores for like
Cash is a
commercials
musician. I
and
wouldn't call him an influencer,
Well,
and that's a little different.
he's hosting shows of uh, where he and his friends will do a review of movies, and
Oh, like a podcast type thing?
yeah,
yeah.
And
I've seen those, but it's not much of it in English, and um,
Yeah, my Hindi's not too good.
yeah,
Is that
but
what
I
comes
have
from the
checked him out.
States?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't. Apologies if I'm not too up on that sort of thing.
and yeah, the same. You know, I've checked him out. Now I feel honored that he's here, looking at us bunch of gringos. You know. Have you heard from Russell Pierre?
I have.
And how's that young man doing?
He's doing okay. He's doing all these
Great.
beautiful drawings of these young man in the whistling in the graveyards and stuff on Instagram, and so I talk to him every once in a while. Um,
I guess I need to get off my ass and get on that Instagram. That seems we're like the good stuff is to
well,
look at.
there are things that happen there that it's there's something. It's easy to just post and put things up there. You don't have to necessarily do anything other than just add pictures. On Facebook, it seems sometimes you have to actually pay attention to what people are saying and read what they say and type, and I
Well,
just don't have the time for
I
that.
have a Facebook. I don't use that. I have a Twitter. I don't really use that anymore either. Instagram is kind of like the lesser of the evils to me.
Mm.
I do still, Instagram's kind of cool, but for that, like all I do on there is post pictures of pins. So,
Mm.
and it's not even like really for everyone else's benefit necessarily. I just like posting the pictures of pins on there more for me than anything because it's like a catalog of the. That I have, you know. Every pin that I own is not on there, but some of my favorite ones are on there. So, and plus it gives me something to do if I get real bored or something. I can get the camera out and try to make some cool pin photos. So you see some of these pictures people post on there and kind of makes me jealous. I'd like to figure out how to do better photos.
Eh.
I don't know. I like my style though, the blank white background with just the pen, because to me that's the focus of the whole thing. Some people, there's all these different like weird internet trends, like the people that they're pen people, but they'll post their pen like something they've written and like their cup of coffee every morning or something.
Uh-huh.
The coffee, they do the little design in the top of it with the foam, and I don't know. I don't get that. Like
You don't do that, huh?
the pen thing is a hobby to me. It's not a lifestyle necessarily. You know what I mean?
I guess I do.
Like it's not an accessory. It's just, something I'm really interested in. Maybe, I don't know, it's just taking it too far, I guess.
You know, you talking about your pen journey. I guess I started out about 10 or 12 years ago, and at the time I had an infatuation with lever pen, lever fill pens,
Right.
and I don't know if it was because I seen one of these Three Stooges shows where they
Oh, the
squirt,
cartoons
squirt.
where they,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so I started collecting Esterbrook's, and I think I messed around there and collected probably, I don't know, 10 or 20 of them, and enjoyed them. Got into buying bottled ink, and then I started looking at modern pens and kind of got into that, and got a good selection of those. But I don't know. I'm kind of leaning back towards the old. I got a soft spot in my heart for the old Americana and the kind of the history and the stuff like that with the older pens. So that's where I'm leaning at now with my pen world is, more of the older stuff.
I would have to say I'm pretty much the same way as when it comes to like the Americana and stuff like that. Because pretty much when it comes to my pens, the vast majority of them are vintage. I do have some quote unquote modern pens, and they do have some certain nice aspects to them. But for by and large, vintage pens are where it's at for me because it really ticks a bunch of boxes for me. Number one, it's the historical factor of them. Number two, the materials they're made out of. Vintage pens are made out of stuff they can't make stuff out of anymore. And in a lot of ways, I think they were superior materials. So I was
Oh,
having a
absolutely.
conversation with someone the other day. I would be
They
surprised if any of the modern pens that I have will be capable of lasting 100 years or more, like some of the pens I have.
and you think about it too. Where did all this old tooling go? I'm sure a lot of it was at some point kind of mass produced. I mean, the Schaefers and Parkers, and but they're
Yeah, once
where
injection
where
molding came in, it was yeah.
but where did the old tooling go? It's got to be it was scrapped or thrown to the wayside. Is it gone, lost in history forever, or is it in a
I
crap
would
hole?
imagine that most of the actual dies and things were probably scrapped. But I have heard before that a lot of old tooling for not for pins, but for other things that I know about, for a while it had been used as ballast in ships
Oh dear. Uh-huh.
because the
Yeah.
tooling is such a big chunk of steel. They would put them in certain parts of ships as the ballast.
Well, do you
Well,
think that was done like for the war effort during World War II? And
Oh yeah,
I think
the World War I, World War II,
a lot of the
with the
tooling
scrap
was
drives and
gone.
everything, that destroyed a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
well, what tooling? I mean, it was for buggy whip manufacturing or what? 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 What tooling?
Yeah, manufacturing, Peter. But you probably know a whole lot more about the manufacturing process of pens and me and Mitch put
No.
together, or ever
Well,
will.
I don't know whether I do, but I do know that.
I know quite a bit about it as well. Like actual molds and stuff for like injection molding, that's one thing. If you go back to beyond like before the 50s, I can't imagine there's actually a whole lot of real tooling. A lot of that stuff was really handmade.
Well, like
Uh,
celluloid
yeah,
and
the celluloid came in, either flat blanks or rods, and it was turned on lathes essentially.
right.
And they had, a pattern they would go off of, like say they were going to make a Schaefer balance barrel. Uh, they
Well,
would
and
they
they
would
did
rough
have
a blank down and then send
I
it
would
for
say
final polishing. And
I would say back in the 20s and 30s they had what they call duplicating machines or following machines where
right, that's exactly what
you
I'm talking about.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what they'd go off of a master form, and then
Right.
they would create like a rough blank, and then it would get sent off to like a secondary and tertiary machining and finishing stages. But I mean, most of that stuff was, you know, still hand work. It wasn't like today where you just put a chunk of something in a CNC machine and hit a button and out pops the finished part later.
Yeah.
And
What?
it's like the nibs were basically completely handmade. Aside from the stamping and forming, like everything else was all handwork. The slitting, the tipping, the grinding, the polishing, the fitting and mounting.
Did you see the movie that was made recently about the Polaroid companies, uh, film is being remade. The Instamatic film is
I've been following that since it happened because I've been interested in photography since Polaroid originally went out of business and quit making Polaroid film. And then a group of guys bought up the machinery from, I guess it was like what was it, in Belgium or Amsterdam or something?
yeah, Europe somewhere where they
Yeah,
still
somewhere
had
in
it.
Europe. They had a factory there with the machinery that could make Polaroid film, and some guys like rescued it all.
Yeah,
And they, you know, got all the lead engineers and stuff that had worked there and saved that information. Uh, and they've done
they,
a really good job. It was originally called the Impossible Project
yeah,
when they
yeah.
started remanufacturing new Polaroid film after it had been discontinued. And then now
Well,
it's gone a complete 180 degrees. They renamed the Impossible Project Polaroid again.
yeah.
So it's
Well,
come full circle now.
the problem with it, they couldn't go back to the original recipe
Yeah.
because a lot of the original parts, chemicals were not safe anymore to use. So they had to simplify a little bit, or
As
try to.
environmentally conscious as I am, I also think that a lot of that talk you hear when it comes to stuff like that, oh, well, it required a process or the chemicals were dangerous and this and that. I think a lot of that is cover for profit, essentially.
Uh,
It cost too much money. There wasn't enough profit margin in it. So they'll just say, oh, well, you know, this chemical was dangerous or something, because it's an easy way to excuse away something,
yeah,
I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I just I've gotten that feeling a lot of times when people talk about stuff like this, that it's not necessarily because it can't be done again. It's because it just, the profit isn't there. Because as we all know, the almighty dollar rules all. So yeah, it's pretty cool. You can
Well,
pretty much go to a lot of stores now and buy Polaroid film, and it fits not just the old Polaroid cameras, but believe it or not, they're making new Polaroid cameras.
like the old
uh,
Instamatic, the
Yeah, the old and the little.
it spits it out, and 2 minutes later you got a
Well,
photo.
here's one right here, but this isn't a Polaroid. This is a Fuji. This is a Fuji instant camera, and it's
Yeah,
got two shutter buttons on it.
when computers first came out, you didn't want your Polaroid to be uh, posted on the computer because Polaroids were pretty handy.
Yeah,
Uh,
Polaroids were useful for lots of things.
yes, yes,
If you took certain
uh,
types of pictures, you didn't want to take those to the lab and have other people looking at them.
right, exactly. Mitch gets it.
Depending
yeah.
on the subject matter at hand, yes.
Exactly, exactly. Mitch,
But
you've
I
been in
mean,
the gutter.
Polaroids had a lot of really weird uses too. They were very popular with uh, insurance adjusters.
Yeah.
Police departments use Polaroids big time, documenting crime scenes and stuff like that. Like they were really useful.
They
You remember
they
when they
they
came out with a camera and it was kind of a disposable camera and you could take pictures, then take the whole camera and drop it
Yeah,
off and they would develop.
yeah, you
the
could
I
still
worked,
get
brownie,
those.
the
yeah,
brownie.
yeah, I worked for a company back then, way back that's was a big part of their safety uh, program was to give employees and drivers and these cameras, and if they were involved in an accident, incident, or
Oh, they'd
whatever,
pull the camera out and
they'd
snap
pull the
photos of
camera out.
everything.
Then they just give the whole camera. You had a little accident packet with an envelope, and you just drop the whole camera in that, and it would go to the safety department or the human resources or wherever, and they would get it developed and then head it off to the legal department wherever it may need to go.
Well, that's everybody does their cell phone now.
Yeah, right.
That's the
All
amazing
right,
thing too.
all right, guys. I'm going to drop off here. It's been
Okay,
great
well, nice
visiting
seeing
with
you.
you. Y'all take care, and good to see Cash and Mitch, Pierre. Stay out of trouble.
Thanks for the chat.
What
Have
fun
yourself a
is
good
that?
one.
Yeah, right, right.
We want to
Okay,
get into trouble. Okay, see you later.
okay, okay. Keep it nasty. Bye.
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 Well, the other thing with Polaroids are John Vale, a pen collector who used to work for Polaroid. He said that Polaroid, you could not alter the image,
Yeah, that was something I was going to bring up. They were
which
useful because
you
they were
can
considered
do
like a.
with other developing. You can sort of tweak it, and even before
They were
Photoshop.
tampering resistant. Yeah, you could
Yeah.
enter a Polaroid as evidence in a court case because
Yeah.
whatever was on that picture was whatever was going on in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And nowadays, entering a photograph you took on your cell phone as evidence in a court case is a little more difficult.
You'll be laughed out of court.
I'll have to look about that Polaroid film he was talking about, though. I haven't seen that. I mean, I pretty much know the whole story already, but I'd still like to see the film, So are you done cutting up diplomas now, or?
Oh, I don't know if I'm done, but
Well, how big is your supply now?
it's big.
Oh, okay. Just making sure you weren't blowing through your whole stash of diplomas here.
No, I haven't blown through it yet, but there's one that I really like. I don't want to tear up, but I think I will do it anyway. It's another one of Clem's.
Oh yeah, that one.
And
Hey,
but
Clem was the graduatingest man there ever was, isn't there?
Yeah, there's so many faces I see here and parts of them that are different from other ones
Yeah, like even the little curls and the foliage there and the scroll work and everything.
Well, there are a few more coming. I did make the little captions for the ones that are in the show. So the captions are these little things that look like diplomas. So
that is pretty cool.
This caption reads, "The furrowed brow belies his first important decision. Should he work at the nonprofit kitty shelter or the vast military industrial complex?" And it's signed K. Sarah Sarah.
Well, you even did the little
Seal.
ribbon and seal in the corner and everything.
And this one says, "The love child of Stewie Griffin and Rudy Giuliani could only find employment at the My Pillow Company." And it's signed Stupid Cupid.
Yeah, everybody's favorite pillow.
And then all the graduates of the Prussian spy school were such loudmouth gossips that their professor had them all line up before the firing squad for the good of the fatherland. And it's signed Kaput.
Kaput.
So, I'll have these glued or mounted on the wall, just taped so they they're curled like this.
Yeah.
Next to the ones that they.
Well, having them be curled like that makes them even more authentic.
Even more, yeah. It
That's
was
pretty
really
cool.
hard. It was really
Those are
hard drawing
miniature
on
little
this.
artworks themselves.
Yeah, I was hard drawing on those curled. I want more of these. I only have one. It's a lead holder or a chalk holder.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those before. You ever seen the bamboo ones that are like that?
No.
Yeah, I'm trying to think when the last time I seen one of those. But yeah, they make those out of bamboo also for
Hello,
like chalk
Marilyn. Would
or
you like to join us?
graphite or whatever.
Marilyn might join us here.
Well, I have to take off here in a minute. I still got some other stuff to do. So
Oh, okay.
that was pretty cool though. At least I got to see Will for a minute.
Yeah, nice seeing him.
And I got to say hello to Kesh because I ain't seen him in a while.
I
In the
haven't
chat.
either.
It's almost like we're getting the old band back together for a minute.
Yeah, we need Tasha and Edie and.
Yeah, whatever happened to them?
I've seen their typing from occasionally, but I think it's mainly me just having other things I'm doing.
Right.
And a lot of the things that I do here are not necessarily pen related. So
Right.
I've lost.
That's the problem, Pierre. You deviated from your topic too far.
Well,
Lost your viewership.
I guess so. Well, I might find some new viewerships.
Oh, that's the thing. This is your world, Pierre. We all just live in it. So
I have a bunch of paper that looks like this that I thought was shitty, but it seems to work okay. It is kind of shitty though. It's
just in those strips.
It's cardstock, Crane's Letra paper, and Letra paper is good for letterpress.
Mm-hmm.
And they made it slightly better than it was, so it used to skip, and it was just nasty paper to write on. It was sort of like writing on a hard blotter.
Yeah.
Slightly harder blotter, and everything about it was awful. And I thought, well, my letterpress guy in the building here he didn't go out of business, but I guess he sold his business, so he ended up selling me a lot of stuff, and this was stuff that he was in his free pile, and I thought I could use it for something. And
it's just weird that a lot of things like that, like Polaroid film or vinyl records or even letterpress, for a period of 20 or 30 years, it just about completely died out. And then all of a sudden, there's enough of a renewed interest in that people are, have managed to start successful businesses doing things like that. Like there's guys that have started their own little print shops, doing everything the old school way, making wedding invitations and stuff like that for people.
Well, there's a lot of letterpress people in the Boston area. It's just that this particular guy, I think because of COVID, he was doing a lot of work for restaurants doing beer
Yeah.
coasters and stuff. And when they all shut down, they didn't need to buy any
Yeah,
more.
well, nobody was going to bars for a while, so
And
you don't need any
he
coasters. Yeah.
he opted to just sell his company and his most of his presses to a friend of his, and he kept one that he's going to maybe do some art pieces on, but he ended up renting his studio to someone else, and I don't know when he's coming back.
Well, I'm just checking the chat here. Marilyn says she can't come on because she's at the dentist.
Okay.
She can't come on. I'm in a state. Well, I'm going to be doing that again here on Thursday, so I'll be in the dentist myself.
I haven't been to the dentist in like 5 years.
Oh, they're going to be doing a number on me on Thursday.
I've got all sorts of cavities. I can feel them. They haven't been bothering me. Maybe the teeth are dead.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be trying to play catch up for the last 10 years where I haven't been able to go to the dentist like I should have been.
Oh.
Will says sorry for leaving abruptly. He's having work done in the house. They were knocking on the door. And then he asks, is Kodak Eastman even in business these days? Yes, they are. They are totally in business. And Kodak is still making film too. They're making more of it now than they have in years, but it costs a lot more than it used to also. That's one of the bad things about COVID is screwed up the supply of everything, and combined with inflation. And well, look at that. Guess who just said hi in the chat room?
Oh, her ears were ringing.
It had to have been. We were just asking about you. Well, I hate to run in the middle of all this, but I think I'm going to have to go too. So,
Okay. Well, I have to leave too pretty soon too. Tasha, would you like to join us for a second though?
Tasha said it's been a minute. It's definitely been a minute. Yeah, I'm still alive. I'm still around. Pierre's still here. I'm trying to keep the flame burning. Alrighty then. Well, I guess I'm gonna take off, and I suppose I'll catch you here at some point here shortly.
Yeah, we'll be around.
Alrighty. Well, it's good to see
Okay, see you
everybody, and
later.
I'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Oh no. Broke in half last night? Ouch. Okay, I'm gonna sign off too, Tasha. Give my best to Evie, and I'll catch you all later. Oh, Gary Scott is here. What's up to the diploma faces? Well, I've been having fun making, taking images that are printed and figuring out fun ways to turn them into drawings. And I may do more of that. I don't know. What should I do? Just wanted to show. I just added those lights, which work pretty well. Anyway, I'm gonna head off. We'll catch you all later. See ya.